I actually don't think a 9-to-5 is all that bad. And I'm gonna tell you why. Despite what all the social media influencers and the gurus are telling you, that it's slavery, that it's depressing, that you're gonna die lonely and miserable, I think that's being a very dramatic. I'm working 9-to-5 right now, and on the side, I got entrepreneurial things going on. And so I am able to see both sides, and I want to give my perspective on it, a fair, just perspective. And I'm gonna start off by saying, yes, some of these things definitely are true. It's modern day slavery. But back then, slaves did not get 2 weeks vacation and comfortable paychecks where they're able to pay for a house, pay for their bills, raise their family, and have extra money on the side to produce more income, eventually getting them off of the plantation or the slavery, the foundation that is enslaving them. They didn't have that. They didn't have life insurance, health benefits, and things like that. They were getting tortured and beaten. That is not happening in today's world, so I don't know. And I also think it's kind of bad to look at it like that because you see this as slavery. But if you're an entrepreneur, you someday want to be a CEO or a boss, and you want to employ people. Does that mean in your eyes you view them as slaves? If you were on the other side viewing, yourself as a slave rather than just a component of a company or straight up like an employee? It's kind of all about perspective. Like, yes, they do the same things, but dude, we are still treated quite different. And nobody's forcing you to work either. Like, slaves were captured and put into the system. You more or less voluntarily went to school, went to college, applied for these jobs, and then got accepted into the company. You're not necessarily a slave. You are working consensually. But with that being said, you are limited. You don't have as much freedom as an entrepreneur. So you are kind of tied to one place, to a company with a set schedule. You gotta show up at certain places at certain times. And that's just how it goes. Even as an entrepreneur, it's not like you're chilling all the time. And the ones that lead you to believe that are probably capping, because in order to run a company, you have to be working so hard and doing so many things. And if you're not doing those things, you're communicating with people who are doing those things. So it's still all work at the end of the day. And that's why I really don't think the 9-to-5 deserves as much hate as it does. So I kind of wrote out all of my thoughts. I gave the ChatGPT summarized it and gave me key concepts here so I can reference it while I speak to you so I don't forget anything major. So the first thing about a 9-to-5 is that structure has value. And what that means to me, some people are just not cut out for entrepreneurship, and they actually need the structure of a 9-to-5 in order to function like a normal, productive human being. I have a lot of friends like that just, when they're trying to do their own projects, trying to do things on their own without a project manager, without anyone holding them accountable, they can't pull through. They can't stay the course. When there's structure, when there's someone to tell you what to do and when to do and give you deadlines, and there's consequences to not doing things, then these people seem to thrive better. That's just normal. Even me, that's why becoming an entrepreneur is a little hard, because you have to kind of just beat yourself in that manner. Until you get there, this is a good way to start that habit of just working 8 hours a day even. As an entrepreneur, it's not like you're not working 8 hours. You're probably working more than 8 hours. You gotta be able to work 8 hours first before you work more than 8 hours. Working a corporate 9-to-5 is a great way to actually start that muscle of being able to work 8 hours a day, or just, do something for that long every day. So in short, the 9-to-5 kind of teaches you discipline, time management, and accountability. Has someone walking you through that. Kind of like school. Another reason why I think it's actually good is because they're literally paying you to learn. Depending on what your 9-to-5 is, if it's a corporate job, then think about it. It's not like you're just in there doing useless things. You're like one part of helping a company make money, essentially. And then something that you do does provide value somewhere way down the line, and then they compensate you for that. So for example, me, I'm literally working as a software engineer. I did not study computer science or coding, anything like that in college. I just have been learning on the job. And most other people are gonna pay for a boot camp. They're gonna go to school for those things, and then they learn it there. Meanwhile, I was lucky enough to, get the position, be a starter, and then just learn along the way. While they had to pay to learn, I'm literally getting a nice paycheck, a comfortable paycheck, in order to learn this skill. And this skill is literally a skill that you can use to go create a startup, go create a new company, and from there make you millions and billions. So I'm learning a valuable skill, and that's engineering. If you're an accountant, someone in the financial department, I don't know, HR, recruiting, marketing, all of those do somehow help companies. You're learning that skill as well. And then if you're an entrepreneur, you're literally going to go create a company which is gonna create a 9 to 5 for somebody else, right? So if you're able to be in here, see how a company operates, see how a successful company runs their business, it would give you experience and a new perspective of how to run a company. And then the third thing is, I actually think that it can fund your freedom. And what I mean by that is they're literally paying you. And depending on how you use that money that they're paying you, then you can multiply that money. You could also lose that money, but you can multiply it, and that's the goal. So like, not everybody literally has to go only identify as a 9 to 5er or identify as an entrepreneur. They can identify kind of as both, right? Either way, you're somebody that is out there trying to make money, whether it's through a 9 to 5 or through other ventures. But let's say you get a stable paycheck, you're able to take care of all your bills, and then you have extra money at the end of the month. That money can be used to invest into stocks, into real estate, funding it into a business that you're trying to create on the side, whatever it is. The point of that is that you have cash flow to be able to fund these other ventures, and those ventures will eventually multiply your money and then make you rich. And then you can, eventually leave the 9 to 5. Again, it is a great place to start because you need cash flow in order to do things. Unless you have crazy connections or you're able to get different loans, then running a business with just a budget rather than consistent cash flow is very difficult. Business itself is already difficult, but if you are having money problems while trying to start and grow a business, it's only gonna be harder. And again, it just gives you that safety net so that you're not kind of like banking and operating from fear. You're able to make sound and just decisions because okay, if this goes to shit, it's fine. I'm not gonna die because I still have money coming from a 9 to 5 and money saved up that's not being burned right now. So I think that's another reason of how it can help, is just giving you money to use. If you look at CEOs and just big company, people working in the big companies, they all went to college. They went fully through college and they started working from a 9 to 5 because they worked their way up. They learned how the company works, how it works at each level, so that when they're at the top level, operating down, they know what's actually going on. They get the big picture because they've been in the small picture all the way up. I actually don't have any names of people that I know for sure went through college. I think Elon Musk did go to college for like physics or something, but there's plenty of other people. It's not like everyone is a dropout. And if they did drop out, look at where Steve Jobs and Zuck and them dropped out from. They were dropping out from like Harvard or MIT or one of those big schools, not the University of Minnesota. Don't look down on college and the 9 to 5. Those people are actually smart too. Just because someone's not doing the same thing that you are, does not mean that they're not smart. And then the last thing is that working at 9 to 5 does give you opportunities and connections. Your network is your net worth. In the corporate 9 to 5, you're gonna meet people. They can help you get different jobs. A lot of these people are just like what I mentioned before. They're 9 to 5ers, but they're also entrepreneurs on the side. And when those people, if you find those people in here, they can kind of help you navigate that and teach you things or just be a connection to things. You would be very surprised. Beyond that, I have noticed a lot of people like leaving these companies and then starting their own because while they were in these companies, in these industries, they noticed things that were lacking. There was a gap in such markets or such industries. Other people just would not be able to know because they're not deep into this thing. These guys are solving some sort of problem that's so niche that only a specific team in a specific department of a specific type of company faces. When you can solve a few of those people's problems and charge them a very decent amount, then you also make a lot of money. But again, you wouldn't know those problems unless you were in the 9 to 5, in the trenches, working on such things, and you're like, oh, yeah, this thing sucks, let me build a different one, right? The point of all of this is to say that although all the social media influencers and gurus are trying to tell you that a 9 to 5 is bad and that it's slavery, you're just gonna die miserable and be depressed, they're not fully wrong. Some of those things, like on the surface level, are a little true. It all depends on your perspective and how you think about it. If you can make the best of every situation and see the good in everything, life is just a little bit smoother, bro. If that's a situation that you're in and you just have to work a 9 to 5, or you're currently working a 9 to 5, or you don't even know what to do, a 9 to 5 is a very good place to start. And then from there, you build your foundation and you can go do other things on the side until those things on the side grow so big that it replaces your 9 to 5. But until then, there's nothing to be ashamed about working 9 to 5. That is what I believe. That's all I got for you. Peace out, man. Stay healthy, stay hungry. I love you, and I'll see you again next time.